Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1672B, and today's date is September 24th, 2018, and the title of the episode is D5 Avalanche is about to hit, and the deep state has no place to hide. Now, before I get started, I wanted to talk about privacy on how the NSA, CIA, social media, corporations are tracking and spying on us 24/7. First, let's take a look at what happened the last couple of weeks here. Now, T-Mobile confirmed that the telecom giant suffered a security breach on its U.S. servers on August 20th that may have resulted in the leak of some personal information of up to 2 million T-Mobile customers. The leaked information included name, billing, zip code, phone number, email address, account number, and account type, prepaid or postpaid. These companies are being hacked over and over, and these hackers are downloading all this information. Apple right now has forced Facebook VPN app out of the iOS store. Why? Because they were stealing users' data. So Facebook removed its mobile VPN app called Anavo Protect from the iOS App Store after Apple declared the app violated the iPhone maker's App Store guidelines on data collection. Now, for those people who are unaware, Anavo Protect is owned by Facebook, and the VPN app was supposed to protect users' data. Instead, Anavo Protect became a data collection tool for Facebook, and it helped the company to track smartphone users. So what does this mean? It means they are watching, listening, and tracking all of us, connecting to our microphones and cameras. Now, it is up to each and every one of us to protect ourselves. How do you do this? Well, you use a VPN, virtual private network. I use Virtual Shield. It allows you to transport yourself somewhere else in the world, and the trackers will not know your true location. Now, Virtual Shield VPN is one of the easiest VPNs to use in the world, one of the fastest VPNs, and their no-log policy protects its users from any data breaches. Now, this month is Virtual Shield's end-of-month blowout sale by offering up to 70% off VPN plans and discounts on all premium add-ons, including Protection Plus, residential access, monthly maintenance, phone support, and VIP performance plans. And don't forget about IdentiSafe, which allows the customers the ability to block off computer microphone and camera access from any unwanted spies and hackers. Now, for anyone that is paranoid about the government watching or listening to every move they make via computer, IdentiSafe is for them. So check out the link below, and remember, we all have the right to remain private. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, the deep state and the mainstream media, they are floundering right now because they understand the D-class is coming, and they are very worried about this. They already know what it says. They know what's going to happen, and they're trying to figure out a way to cover all this up. And I wanted to start off with post 1439. This is back May 22nd, 2018 from Q. And it says, who is missing from the scheduled meeting? Rod Rosenstein. Who is Ed O'Callaghan acting? Kill brackets Ed. D-class Payne. Enjoy the show. In May, Rosenstein was absent from a meeting about the Trump-Russia investigation, and Ed O'Callaghan filled in for him, and Q asked us to look into the background of this individual. Now, Edward O'Callaghan has served the Department of Justice with distinction, excelling as a prosecutor in the Southern District of New York, and most recently as the Principal Deputy Assistant General in the National Security Division. His experiences in a variety of roles throughout the department will be invaluable as we work to protect our national security, reduce violent crime, and promote the rule of law. And this is what Rod Rosenstein said. I also want to thank Robert Hur for serving as the Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General. His counsel was invaluable over the past 10 months, and I look forward to seeing him thrive as the United States Attorney General for the District of Maryland. And this individual, Edward O'Callaghan, he's not one of our guys, I don't believe. This individual is working hand in hand with Rosenstein, giving him information when he doesn't attend these type of meetings. Now, today in the news, we see a story out there from the mainstream media saying that Rod Rosenstein resigned. And all of a sudden, that story turned into something different where he didn't resign. Now, the mainstream media, they're trying to push their agenda by saying that Rod Rosenstein is resigning because Trump is getting ready to fire him. See, what they're doing is they're turning this all around to make it look like Trump was about to fire him, but Rosenstein decided to leave on his own. The problem is, Rosenstein does not have a written resignation. They're saying it was done verbally to Kelly, but there's nothing here. And coming from the White House, we can see that this is not true. Coming from Sarah Sanders, it says, at the request of Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, he and President Trump had an extended conversation to discuss the recent news stories. Because the president is at the United Nations General Assembly and has a full schedule with leaders from around the world, they will meet on Thursday when the president returns to Washington, D.C. Now, according to Q, Trump has continually declined meetings with Rosenstein. Rosenstein is getting very nervous. The mainstream media is getting nervous. The deep state is in a gigantic panic right now. Now, the president is not going to fire him. Q has already told us this. He doesn't want him or Mueller fired. Wants them both right where they are for now. Otherwise, they both would have been gone already. He would have fired him a long time ago. Rod Rosenstein will resign as the D class will force him to resign. Q has told us this. Why would you fire him if you know the D class is going to force him to resign? He's going to do it on his own. And it's not because he was going to be fired. That's ridiculous. He cannot oversee an investigation that he'll be a key witness in. This would be a blatant conflict of interest. So Rod Rosenstein is going to have to recuse himself. He's going to have to resign. And if he remains employed at the Department of Justice, he can be forced to testify under oath and penalty of law if perjury is committed, and they can't have that either. They're in a pickle right now. Q, as he always says, or she, or the group, we have it all. Trust the plan. Where we go one, we go all. Rosenstein is boxed in. There's no way out here. Post 2273, September 23rd, Q put up Trust Grassley. And I want to go back to post 1122. Q also told us to trust Sessions, trust Wray, trust Kansas, trust Horowitz, trust Huber, and trust Grassley. So let's go through why Q is telling us to trust Grassley. Remember, they need Kavanaugh in. They need him as a Supreme Court justice. This way, we can open up the indictments. This way, the D-class can happen. This way, people can be brought to trial. So, the deep state, they know this. They don't want Kavanaugh confirmed. And this is why they continually throw more and more women who are coming out of the woodwork at Kavanaugh. Now, a second woman has come forward to accuse Brett Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct. This time, while he was at Yale University during 83-84 academic year, according to a new report by Ronan Farrow of The New Yorker. Now, the woman is Deborah Ramirez, 53, claims that Kavanaugh waved his penis in her face during a drunken dormitory party and caused her to touch it without her consent as she pushed him away. Now, what's very interesting, she is naming different individuals that will confirm her story, saying that these individuals were there and they're going to confirm the story. The problem is that two of those male classmates who Ramirez alleged were involved in the incident, the wife of a third male student, she said was involved, and three other classmates, Dino Ewing, Louisa Gary, and Dan Murphy, they're saying, no, this didn't happen. We were the people closest to Brett Kavanaugh during the first year at Yale. He was a roommate to some of us, and we spent a great deal of time with him, including in the dorm where this incident allegedly took place. Some of us were also friends with Demi Ramirez during and after her time at Yale. We can say with confidence that if the incident Debbie alleges ever occurred, we would have seen or heard about it, and we did not. Further, those classmates said that the allegations in the story would be completely out of character for Kavanaugh. The behavior she describes would be completely out of character. A former student who was best friends with Ramirez said she never told her about the incident despite how close they were. So something's wrong here. Now, what's very interesting is that Tim Young tweeted out that NBC the New York Times, and the Washington Post passed on the Ronan Farrow's Kavanaugh accuser story because reporters felt uneasy about the facts. Think about that. NBC, the New York Times, and the Washington Post all passed on a story that could have made Trump Kavanaugh look bad. But they knew they didn't have the facts. Something was wrong here. There's a lot of gaps in the story. So, Judiciary Chairman Grassley, he released a batch of letters and documents. One of them is the original unsigned Blasey Ford letter to Feinstein of unknown authorship. So this letter that Feinstein gave was never signed by Christine Blasey, which is very interesting. They don't even know if she wrote it. So Judge Brett Kavanaugh doesn't need to grant credence to the accusations by denying them. Instead, just refer to the accuser's own witnesses. Both political accusations from Ms. Ford and Ms. Ramirez are refuted and denied by witnesses they stated would back up their claims. I mean, think about what's happening here. They're pulling all this stuff out. Grassley is releasing the letters. They're not even signed by Christine Blasey. They don't even know if she wrote them. And all the witnesses that they have, they're saying, we don't remember any of this. And actually, this is completely out of the character of Brett Kavanaugh. It makes no sense. And Kavanaugh's saying, listen, I want to testify. I want to fight this because this didn't happen. Now, Paul Sperry tweeted out, breaking, Chairman Grassley has asked Blasey Ford's lawyer to turn over results of private polygraph Ford claims she took and passed along with the list of questions. The test was based on a statement summarizing her allegations and may not have mentioned Kavanaugh by name. Now, we mentioned this before. I mean, this test could have been, oh, were you at a party? Yes, it's true. Were there individuals at a party? Yes, true. Were you up in a room at this party? Yes, true. Were there people in this room? Yes, true. Well, she's telling the truth. But again, there's no link to Kavanaugh. That's the problem. The question should have been, was Kavanaugh there? Now, I believe this is why Grassley wants this polygraph test, and we'll have to see what they do at this time. Now, Brett Kavanaugh handed over his calendar from 1982 that shows that he was out of town nearly the entire summer when this alleged incident is believed to have happened. So right there and then, we have a huge problem. Now, let's move on to post 2274. This is September 24th. Q put up a previous post back on May 21st, 2018, and it says military op, in brackets green, General K, JFK, full disclosure, general statement. Once the extremely guarded and highly classified information is finally revealed to House investigators, DNI public, Rod Rosenstein must recuse or forcefully terminate it. Rod Rosenstein problems. What was Rod Rosenstein's Senate confirmation vote? Yes, it was fixed, and he got in by a huge margin compared to Sessions. Wray reports to Rod Rosenstein, important fact. Why do you trust? Rod Rosenstein recused fired. Who has direct oversight of Mueller? Sessions unrecuse or number 3 until refill. So the number 3 person would have control unless Sessions unrecuses himself, which he's about to do. Who is Rachel Brand? Why was Rachel Brand dismissed? Think timing. And then Q went on to say, the succession question is actually a bit complicated. By default, under an obscure statute known as the Vacancies Reform Act of 1998, Brand's temporary successor as the acting Associate Attorney General in her principal duty, Jesse Pinuccio, that same statute would also allow the president to choose someone else to serve as the acting AAG on a temporary basis for up to 210 days. The pool of individuals from which the president could draw in this case includes individuals already holding Senate-confirmed positions elsewhere in the executive branch, like EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt or senior civil lawyers in the Justice Department specifically. Acting. And then gave us a link to this whole thing. When does the clock run out? Why is Schneiderman's removal extremely relevant? Trust name. These people are stupid. D5. Q. And under this, Q says, did the IG recommend Rod Rosenstein step down or be fired to speed this up? Most likely, yeah. The Inspector General probably said, listen, it's time for you to step down or be fired. You have no choice here, but we know that Trump is not going to fire him. What's really happening here is they're saying, listen, the D class is going to come out. It's your move, and you probably have to step down. Why was Rachel Brand removed? Hussein plus Michelle Obama actively campaigning for the midterm elections. Normal, panic, D5, Q. So Rachel Brand's removal was a clear out all the top spots. Rachel removed early on since they wouldn't fight it too much. The others from the top 4 spots had his limit run out, so he was naturally replaced by the president without a vote. That means they can't block or control who replaces Rosenstein. Trump gets to select a 200-day temp from a list of already approved people, such as Scott Pruitt, or maybe even Gowdy, maybe. Even though they said Gowdy's, walking. But there's many other people that he can choose from. So Trump doesn't need a vote to fill this position, which will align everything to back up Sessions. Very interesting. Well played. Now Q says, panic, D5. D5 is an avalanche. The avalanche is hitting. And the deep state, they're running, but there's no place to hide. It's going to hit them. And is it normal for Obama and Michelle Obama to be on the campaign trail now? No, it's not. They're in trouble and they knew it. They know it. And they're trying to figure out a way out of this. How are they going to figure out a way out of this? Well, they're trying to campaign so they can get their people into Congress. That's why they're out there right now. Is it going to work? Most likely not. Now, the UK is begging Trump not to declassify Russian docs. They cited grave concern over Steele involvement. The UK is very nervous right now because once the information comes out, they are implicated in all of this. And then there's an investigation of what they've really done. And they know all of this is going to come out. And those people involved in the UK and also Australia, well, they're in big trouble. Now we see the neocons and the deep state, they are trying to do whatever they possibly can to mess up the North Korean deal. And of course, the mainstream media is continually putting out stories about cyber attacks and how the deal's not working, how they're not denuclearizing, and all this other stuff. But we know already from Kim Jong-un and Trump that yes, all of this is happening. Actually, Kim Jong-un already wants a summit, is reaching out for a second summit. But we can see out of the mainstream media, they're reporting that the American allies will start detecting and disrupting North Korean oil smuggling operations. And we know that this is not what it's about. They're going to be going after North Korea. And they're going to be working to basically show that they're smuggling, maybe even set them up. What would be the reason for North Korea at this time to do any of this? Why would they mess up the deal? They wouldn't. It would make no sense. Why are the allies, which really aren't the allies, it's really the deep state allies, the neocon allies, why would they be going after North Korea right now? They're doing this on purpose right now to shut down the peace deal with North Korea. And you can see they're trying to do whatever they possibly can. But I believe that Kim Jong-un and Trump, they have a very good relationship. They communicate through letters. And they don't know what's going on. And this is troubling for them. So they're trying, anything they can. Cyber attacks, it's definitely North Korea. Oil smuggling, it's definitely North Korea. So we can see they're doing whatever they possibly can. Out in Afghanistan, We see Moscow is going to host a meeting between Afghan officials and the Taliban to usher in peace. We see out in Syria, Russia is about to lock down the airspace in Syria. They are confirmed now that the S-300 missile system is going to be installed within 2 weeks. Now, we reported this a while back where we said that eventually what's going to happen is Russia is going to bring in their S-300 missile system into Syria. They're going to set it up, and they're going to lock down the airspace. Why are they locking down the airspace right now? They are stopping Israel. They're stopping the deep state. They're stopping the neocons. It's coming to an end. And we see already that the days of Israel flying in with the F-16, it's not going to happen anymore. Because once these S-300s are installed, Israel is completely blocked out. What does this mean? This means there is no hope for the paid mercenaries. This means the deep state played their card and it didn't work. Russia, Syria have total control of the country. That means there's no reason for the coalition forces to even be in there. They already started the process of the demilitarized zone in Idlib. Now, if the terrorists don't cooperate, they will just be removed by force. They're giving them an opportunity. And we'll have to see if they accept it. We've already seen Al-Qaeda is not going to accept, but you can see at this time, they're surrounded. There's no place for them to go. They'll be destroyed. It's just a matter of time. The clock is ticking down for the deep state. They don't have an out right now. Well, the only thing they do have is a major event. And this is the only thing that they have left. And this is why Q has mentioned this in the past about the intelligence operatives. They are preparing for an event. But Q is saying that they made preparations to make sure that, they have everything handled. And I think this is why they want this system where the president can broadcast to every single person's mobile device. Remember, this was created back when Obama was president because they were going to have an event. Everything was going to be shut down and he was going to be able to broadcast over mobile devices to get the word out there. Now everything has changed. When Kavanaugh is confirmed, the deep state might try something, shut down, and Q has mentioned this, make the internet and I believe social media go dark. So this way the alternative media, Facebook, the news there, anything on YouTube, anything on Twitter, even on 8chan, they'll try to shut it all down. Well, the other social media platforms, it's very easy to do because they're in line with them. Anything outside of that, they'll just hit hard with maybe a DDoS attack or something like that to bring it down. And the only source of news at that time would be the mainstream media, except Trump has the ability to broadcast to every mobile device. Now, they would have to try to block that if they can. And of course, that's a crime. But we'll have to see how this all plays out. But they did make preparations for this major event. And we can see we're coming down to the wire right now. And it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better, because we can see the deep state is not just going to give. They're not just going to say, okay, you got us, arrest us, put us on trial. It's not going to happen that way. They're going to fight back and lie until the end. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.